Have you ever wondered what the world was like before the great events of the Exodus? What would it be like to live in an era shrouded in mystery, conflict, and uncertainty, where every step had to be carefully made to avoid potential conflicts? How were deep-seated beliefs and ancient traditions guided? What was the true culture, geography, and religion of that time? What do we know about their daily lives, their technological advances, and their structure as a civilization? Today, I extend a special invitation to you to join us on this journey together, where we will explore the long-forgotten secrets of the ancient world. Get ready to discover a universe of lost knowledge, where each answer reveals more questions, and each mystery leads us to new revelations. Are you ready to unravel the enigmas that have shaped human history? So let's start this fascinating journey through the paths of the past. And if you like the video, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Your presence is very welcome with us. Leave a comment if you like it, and a like as a form of support. That said, brace yourselves, for we promise to address various aspects of Egyptian society in this great biblical event that was the Exodus. So come on, do you know what the term Exodus means? The term Exodus holds a deep meaning in biblical history and in the collective consciousness of mankind. It represents not only a physical migration, but also a spiritual journey of liberation and renewal. The Exodus refers to the departure of the ancient Israelites from Egypt, led by Moses, to freedom and the promise of a new land. It is a pivotal event that marked not only the history of the Hebrew people, but also influenced the development of faith and morality over the centuries. In ancient Egypt, under the blazing glow of the desert sun, life flourished on the banks of the Nile River, bringing with it the mysteries and wonders of a legendary civilization. People awoke at the crack of dawn, preparing for the toils that sustained their lives. Food was a dance of colors and flavors, where golden grains were ground to make the bread that fed the body and soul. The bustling markets displayed a riot of juicy fruits, exotic vegetables, and fresh fish taken from the waters of the Nile, while the aroma of exotic spices filled the air. The dwellings of the Egyptians reflected their quest for stability and security. Built of mud bricks, the houses were simple but welcoming, with flat roofs that offered shade on scorching days and housed large families. However, the more affluent among them enjoyed lavish mansions, adorned with vibrant paintings and lush gardens, which served as oases of tranquility amidst the hustle and bustle of the city. As for clothing, the clothing of the Egyptians was an expression of their identity and social status. White linen tunics were worn on a daily basis, keeping them cool under the scorching sun, while finely embroidered fabrics adorned with precious jewels were reserved for special occasions. Women sported graceful dresses adorned with gold ornaments, while men sported elegant and colorful robes, indicating their position in the social hierarchy. But life in ancient Egypt wasn't just about work and daily chores. People found moments of leisure and recreation in the activities that filled their days. Board games were a popular source of entertainment, while religious festivities celebrated the gods and goddesses who ruled their lives. The vibrant dances and music echoed through the narrow streets of the cities, filling the air with joy and celebration. However, behind the facade of tranquility and prosperity, Egyptian society was stratified and hierarchical. At the top of the pyramid were the pharaoh and the nobility, whose power was absolute and whose lives were permeated by luxury and extravagance. Below them were the priests and scribes, who held positions of prestige and influence, while the artisans and merchants supported the kingdom's economy with their hard work and specialized skills. Finally, at the bottom of the pyramid were the peasants and slaves, whose lives were marked by hard work and harsh conditions. As for gender roles, men were generally responsible for providing for their families and held positions of power and authority in society. However, women played a crucial role in family life and were able to engage in certain economic activities, such as trade and the production of goods. In addition, some women attained prominent positions in Egyptian society, such as the queens and priestesses, who wielded power and influence over the people. In terms of government, ancient Egypt was a theocratic monarchy, where the pharaoh was considered a living god and held divine authority over his subjects. His word was law, and his will was expressed through a complex bureaucracy composed of loyal administrative officials and advisors. However, the pharaoh was also assisted by a caste of powerful priests who wielded great influence over the religious and political life of the kingdom. Thus, the daily life and society of ancient Egypt was a reflection of the complexity and richness of this ancient civilization, where every aspect of life was permeated by ancient traditions and deep-seated beliefs. On the banks of the majestic Nile River, life in ancient Egypt was shaped by the forces of nature, where climate and geography played key roles in the everyday existence of the people. Egypt was blessed with a unique climate, characterized by long periods of scorching sun and little precipitation. The seasons of the year were divided into two distinct periods, the flood and the drought. During the flood, the waters of the Nile overflowed its banks, fertilizing the fields and preparing the soil for planting. Already in the drought, the relentless sun punished the land, requiring farmers to work hard to ensure the harvest and survival. The geography of Egypt was marked by the dominant presence of the Nile River, which meandered through its fertile lands, feeding it with its nutrients and ensuring the prosperity of the kingdom. The lands along the banks of the Nile were rich in fertile soil, where the Egyptians grew a variety of crops, including cereals, vegetables, and fruits. Additionally, the river was an important transportation and communication route, allowing for trade between the different regions of Egypt and beyond its borders. Beyond the Nile, Egypt was surrounded by arid deserts and towering mountains, which served as natural borders and protected the kingdom from foreign invasions. The Western Desert, known as the Libyan Desert, was a vast expanse of sand and rocks where little life flourished. To the east, the Arabian Desert stretched to the horizon, challenging travelers with its rolling dunes and biting winds. In the south, the mountains of Sinai stood like silent sentinels guarding the secrets of the lands beyond their borders. Despite the challenges presented by climate and geography, the people of ancient Egypt learned to thrive in harmony with nature, taking advantage of available resources and adapting to harsh conditions. Their lives were a celebration of fertility and abundance, where every harvest was a blessing from the gods and every flood of the Nile was a rebirth of the earth. Thus, Egypt's climate and geography were not just physical elements, but rather symbols of a divine order that governed the universe and guided the destinies of the Egyptian people. Enter with us the wonder-filled halls of ancient Egypt, where culture and art were treasures as valuable as the gold that adorned temples and palaces. Egyptian art was a vivid expression of spirituality and reverence for the afterlife, where every sculpture, painting, and hieroglyph told a sacred story. The pyramids stood as silent witnesses to the grandeur and ingenuity of the Egyptian people, while the temples adorned with colossal statues and richly decorated walls were abodes of the gods and centers of devotion. But art was not limited to monumental works alone. Egyptian literature was an inexhaustible source of wisdom and beauty, with writings that touched on themes that still resonate with us to this day. Religious texts, such as the Books of the Dead, offered guidance for the journey after life, while tales and poems celebrated the deeds of the gods and heroes of ancient Egypt. And the music and dance, with their hypnotic melodies and graceful movements, filled the hearts of the Egyptians with joy and celebration. In addition to the richness of Egyptian culture, the cultural traditions of the peoples of the region are also worth mentioning. The Hebrews, with their unwavering faith and their quest for freedom, left a legacy of stories and teachings that resonate to this day. Their songs and dances reflected the joy and hope of a people who faced unimaginable challenges, while their sacred narratives continue to inspire and guide generations. Thus, we delve into the depths of the past, where culture and art were silent witnesses to the grandeur and beauty of ancient Egypt. Every work of art, every monumental building echoes the echoes of a civilization that lived and thrived on the banks of the Nile River, leaving behind a legacy that endures through the centuries. Get ready to delve into the mysteries of the gods and deities that inhabited the imagination of ancient Egypt. The Egyptian pantheon was vast and complex, composed of a myriad of deities who embodied the elements of nature, aspects of everyday life, and cosmic powers. From Ra, the sun god who lit up the heavens with her radiant splendor, to Isis, the powerful goddess of motherhood and magic, each deity had its role and influence in the lives of the Egyptians. In addition to Ra and Isis, the pantheon of Egyptian gods included deities such as Osiris, the god of the dead and resurrection, who symbolized the eternal cycle of life and death; Horus, the god of the sky and the rising sun, associated with protection and royalty; Ptah, the creator god and patron of craftsmen and architects; Bastet, the goddess of fertility, music and dance, depicted with the head of a lioness or a cat; Anubis, the god of embalmers and the afterlife, who guided the souls of the dead into the final judgment. Each of these gods had their own characteristics, myths, and functions in Egyptian mythology, profoundly influencing the lives and culture of the Egyptian people. The religious practices of the Egyptians were an intrinsic part of their existence, permeating every facet of everyday life. The grandiose temples were centers of devotion and worship, where priests and priestesses performed complex rituals and sacred offerings in honor of the gods. Religious festivities celebrated the cycles of nature and cosmic events, bringing people together in communion and celebration. However, alongside the rich religious tradition of the Egyptians, we find the Hebrews, a people whose beliefs and practices differed significantly from those of their neighbors. Before the Exodus, the Hebrews were a nomadic community whose faith was rooted in the promise made by their God, Yahweh, of a promised land and a life of freedom. Their religious practices were simple and straightforward, centered on the worship of one God and the observance of the commandments and laws revealed to their leader, Moses. But how did this chosen people end up being enslaved by the Egyptians? This is a question that takes us to the depths of human history and tragedy. According to biblical accounts, the Hebrews were first welcomed into Egypt during a time of famine in their homeland. However, as time passed, their presence became a threat to the Pharaoh, who feared their growing population and power. Thus, the Hebrews were subjected to slavery and oppression, forced to work in the harsh conditions of the Egyptian mines and fields. But even in the face of adversity, the faith of the Hebrews remained unshaken, nurturing the hope that one day they would be freed from the clutches of slavery and led to freedom and redemption. This is a story of courage, perseverance, and unwavering faith that resonates through the centuries and inspires all those who seek justice and freedom in a world of oppression and injustice. Now we will enter into a fascinating topic that I particularly have a lot of interest in, and I invite you to come with us into the secrets of the ancient techniques and innovations that shaped the world of ancient Egypt. In this land of wonder and mystery, technology was a powerful ally in the quest for prosperity and progress. In agriculture, the Egyptians developed advanced irrigation systems, taking advantage of the flooding of the Nile River to fertilize the land and ensure bountiful harvests. Shadoofs, water-lifting devices, and norias, water wheels, were used to irrigate fields and sustain agriculture in a land where water was life. But it wasn't just agriculture that the Egyptians excelled at. Their skills in construction were equally impressive, as witnessed by the grandiose pyramids and temples that still defy modern understanding today. With advanced engineering techniques and the clever use of materials such as stone and brick, the Egyptians erected monuments that stand as enduring testaments to their skill and devotion. And when it came to transportation, the Egyptians were masters of river navigation, exploring the vast expanses of the Nile River in expertly constructed vessels. Sailing boats and rowboats were used for transporting goods, trading voyages, and military expeditions, connecting the diverse regions of Egypt and beyond. The technological achievements of the Egyptians not only transformed their own society, but also had a profound impact on the entire region. Their agricultural techniques and irrigation systems allowed for the expansion of Egypt's borders and the establishment of trade routes that led to the distant lands of Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. His skills in construction inspired later civilizations and continue to be studied and admired to this day. But even in the face of the depth of Egyptian spirituality and philosophy, there was still room for unanswered questions and unsolved mysteries. The search for truth and enlightenment was an ongoing journey, where each answer raised new questions and each discovery revealed new riddles. Thus, the Egyptians continued their relentless quest for understanding of the universe and man's place within it, inspiring future generations to explore the limits of knowledge and wisdom. In this maelstrom of thoughts and beliefs, we are reminded of the depth and complexity of the human experience, where spirituality and philosophy offer light and guidance amidst the darkness of the unknown. And so, we get lost in the vast depths of the Egyptian soul, where each step brings us closer to the truth and understanding of the divine. From this point, Moses emerges as a central figure in the history of the Hebrew people. Born during a time of oppression and slavery, Moses was raised as a prince of Egypt, but soon discovered his true Hebrew origins. He represented the hope and promise of deliverance for his people, and his journey would play a crucial role in the epic event of the Exodus. However, this point in the story, with the appearance of Moses and his adventures towards the liberation of the Hebrew people, is for another video. Get ready to uncover the mysteries and wonders of this incredible journey, one that will continue to amaze and inspire throughout the ages. We come to the end of this fascinating journey through the world before the Exodus, where we explore the secrets and wonders of a distant age that continues to echo through the centuries. Let's recap the key points we've discovered together along this exciting journey. From everyday life and stratified society to technological advancements and spiritual beliefs, every aspect of the ancient world has offered us valuable insights into the complexity and richness of biblical history. By understanding the social, cultural, and religious contexts of the time, we are able to more deeply appreciate the narratives that shaped the faith and identity of the Hebrew people. And what an incredible story this is of the Hebrew people, a saga of courage, endurance, and unwavering faith that culminated in liberation from the yoke of slavery. Despite the challenges and adversities, the Hebrew people remained steadfast in their determination to pursue freedom and justice, inspiring future generations to follow in their footsteps and strive for a better world. But our journey doesn't end here. I invite you, the viewer, to reflect on the lessons we have learned today and on how knowledge of the past can illuminate our present and our future. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and together we will continue to explore the wonders of biblical history and beyond. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like if you liked this video. Thus, you won't miss any of the exciting upcoming episodes of this journey through the sacred stories and timeless lessons they have to offer us. See you on the next adventure.